Merry Meet. Merry Meet. This is Darius, and I said Merry Meet twice. I don't know if you saw it. I wasn't sure the video had started yet. If you see me looking here instead of here, because this is the camera hole in my tablet, and this is the screen on my tablet. Pardon. And if you see me looking here, that's where my notes are. Forgive me. I'm not a consummate professional. Or maybe I am, and the rest of them just have fancier tech and cheat. It occurred to me that one of the things that I have ignored making videos about, just because I kind of assumed it was a given, and I really shouldn't, and I should be more attentive on what I put out, is the absolute basics of magic and all other spiritual practices. It's something that most people neglect. A lot of people go straight into witchcraft. Pardon the frumpy hat. It's chilly here in the Northeast lately. It's winter. Winter has come. Focus, Jay. Focus. The fundamentals are something that most people overlook vehemently, and they're something that I have found are literally the game changer when it comes to spells, your craft working or your craft not working, or being able to work a spell or not work a spell, or keep up with the practice or not keep up with the practice. The basics are clear and finite, and this I have found, and comment below and correct me if I'm wrong, but I have found in every spiritual practice I have encountered, from Wicca to hoodoo to voodoo, to an extent, to all of the ATRs, to ceremonial craft and magic, to and that's grimoire magic, that's lodge magic, that's Kabbalah, that's and that's both the meditational Hebrew Kabbalah and the Hermetic Kabbalah that's designed to actually magically do things, because I don't know if the Hebrew Kabbalah is intended that way. All forms of witchcraft that I know of benefit from these, and Native American medicine work benefits from this. Like these fundamentals are universal no matter what tradition you're working. So I kind of feel like I should put a video on these. Now that we're 2 minutes and 40 seconds into the video, I'm going to get to the point. There are 3 basic fundamentals that every practitioner of any spiritual art should know, practice regularly, and focus, and put a lot of effort into. The first is clearing your mind. That does not mean you have an empty mind. It doesn't. Linda, that's not how this works. Pardon me. Well, let me walk through going an empty mind right now. I'm closing my eyes, and I'm kind of sweeping clear the main space of my focusing area in my head. Like, the place where the thoughts kind of pass through as you encounter them. If you close your eyes, in most meditative practice, it's kind of the forefront of the mind, the surface thoughts, the place where most of the everyday thinking happens. You kind of sweep that clean, and then thoughts will move in, and you don't get angry. That's missing the point. And you don't get frustrated. That's missing the point. That's going to happen. That is inevitable. The mind seeks to be busy. This is training that is counterproductive and counterintuitive to what we do every day. But it's extremely productive and extremely helpful to spiritual practice. And those thoughts enter, and I just acknowledge them and kind of push them to the side and go, not now. Not forceful. You don't need force. You don't need the drama of emotions involved in this. That's another bit of white noise that you can just, not now. If you feel frustrated, if you're irritated, I'll go, okay. I acknowledge that, and I set it aside. And you practice that until you can keep that area mostly clear. Other stuff's going on. There is still background noise in your head. That's never going away. Don't seek to control that. That's just you. That's the rest of you going on. Let the rest of you go on, and have this part of you that is conscious, that is focused, be here. And that's what a clear mind feels like. It's great. And it helps a lot, because then you can clear that away and have in that space what you are looking to do. and practice doing that until maintaining it becomes easy. Step 1. Step 2, focus. Practice focusing on a single thing for a minute. Then once that's easy, go to 2 minutes. Then once that's easy, go to 5 minutes. And once that's easy, go to 10 minutes. When you can get your mind up to like a 30-minute focus, you're good for almost any spiritual practice as far as a fundamental skill of focusing. And as I don't focus and fix my necklaces. Do as I say, kids, not as I do. But yeah, I'm going to talk about the fundamental exercise my high priestess gave to me. And this is the only piece of our Grove regimen that we ever really publicly talk about. Traditional Wicca, if nobody knows. She'll take a candle. And this is our first Grove class. Like, we have, like, the social where everybody gets to meet and get to know each other, and we can kind of suss out any immediate, intrinsic personality differences and assess them from there. And then class 1. Sometimes it's during the social, sometimes it's the next class after, depending on how we're feeling. And no, that I will not be talking about a class 2. This is the only one we ever talk about publicly. She takes a candle, and she lights it. She puts it on the table, yeah, let's set it on fire, on the table, with everyone sitting around that little table in her living room. And she'll go, all right, welcome to focusing. Stare at the candle for 30 seconds. Then close your eyes. And if you've stared at it for 30 seconds to a minute, about long enough, you'll have an after image. That blue after image of the flame, like staring at a light bulb. There. And the goal of the exercise is to keep that blue after image centered in your vision for as long as possible. Centered right there. Right between your eyes and front. Right there. Centered for as long as possible. It's hard. Oh, when you start out, it is difficult. It is an amazing exercise, though, and it helps. And our first homework assignment is that they do that twice a day for a week and journal about it. What were the difficulties? How long did it take? What was some of that? And do it with music, without music, with noise in the background, with silence in the background, with other lights in the room, with no other lights in the room. You know, test out what helps you focus and what doesn't. And, you know, that becomes part of your toolbox, part of your kit, part of your skill set, is knowing what helps you focus and what detracts from your focus. It's a great exercise. And there are other focusing exercises out there on the internet if you'd like to try those, but that's the one I recommend, and it's the one I tend to just, at the drop of a hat, if somebody is having trouble focusing, I tend to just give that one out, because that's the same thing my high priestess does. It's kind of our token. This is the first tool in our toolbox. Here's your sample. That's the one that's free. Everything else you have to sign up for. And I think that's a good example, because we'll be all having, like, giggle fits in the middle of a ritual that's particularly upbeat or happy or has a more joyous or frenzied energy, and everybody starts. One person will go, okay, everybody, breathe, see the candle flame, see the candle, look at the candle, and everybody else will go, and everybody else will start miming, look at the candle, look at the candle, look at the candle, look at the candle. And that joke, it helps us get the rest of our laughs out, and it is also our tool to bring ourselves back to center, back to focus. It's a meme at that point among our group, and it's great, and I love it, and I feel no need to defend that. It's a wonderful expression of joy and worship. But no, the candle focusing exercise is serious business, and I recommend it. Fun punchline to that whole story, she learned it from a nun in Catholic school. One of our main witchcraft tools. My high priestess learned from a nun in Catholic school. Bless you, sister, wherever you at. Third thing, now that I'm done being long-winded on that point. When you go into a ritual, when you're ready to do spellcraft, do not start that spellcraft. Do not set up your altar. Do not pull out a single tool until you have, either in your head or on paper, Okay, what am I actually attempting to get? What am I actually attempting to do? What is the effect I am looking for? And be direct and specific. Do not use workarounds. Unless you are in a tradition that specifies in workarounds, sometimes hoodoo can, certain other traditions can, but as a general point, acknowledge that the spell is a strategy to get this, and focus it around that. Don't make it about, oh, this thing that's going to get me this. If I want a house, if I want a house to own my own home, I need to do a spell to buy and own my own home. A home I can pay for easily, a home I can maintain, a home I can be safe in a neighborhood I'm good. All of the bits that are going to be, this is what I want. I don't need to do a spell. I don't necessarily need to do, to get that home, a spell to get a better job to get the money to get that home. If that's where I'm going, then I acknowledge that getting another job, a better job, is its own work. It's not, I'm doing this better job spell to get a home. That's not how that works, because they'll get you a better job. But unless you're doing the homework, the homework on the work on getting a home, unless you're doing the work to get the home, the house, the apartment, whatever dwelling you're seeking, and then as an ancillary side work, I'm working on my finances to get there, to help facilitate the home I'm getting. Unless those are two workings tied into each other, you're not, don't. Another good example. If you are looking, and I'm not condoning this bit, but it's the best example I can think of. I'm not condoning this kind of messing with free will. If you do this, you're on your own. I don't have better advice for you. But if you do a spell to get your man back, or your woman back, or your person back, the departed, no longer significant other personnel, the person you broke up with, or who broke up with you, or bloody, and you miss them and you want them back. Again, not condoning with free will, but good example. You would do a spell to get them back. To have them desire you to the point where they return to you and confess love. You wouldn't, oh, well, I'm going to do a spell that makes them lonely. Or I'm going to do a spell that breaks them up with their current girlfriend. If you're not doing anything in addendum to that work to get them back to you, they're just going to break up with that person and go somewhere else to another person. And you've done nothing useful. So yeah, this is my third piece of advice, now that I'm being long-winded on this point and no longer on the previous. Measure out what you want and how you want to get there. Don't make it about what can I do to facilitate this in my life so that I can get this thing. No, what is the thing I'm getting? That's what the ritual's about. That's what the spell is about. That's what the work is about. What do I want? This. How am I getting it? Here. Okay, now I get my ingredient space that I need this, and I'm doing this to get it. Now I know what the motions I'm going to be doing in the ritual because I need this, and I'm doing this to get it. Keep focused. Keep clear head about it, and design what you want. Be clear about what you want. If you're not sure about what you want, do not even consider lighting a candle. Unless it is a spell to help you work out what you want. Which is actually a really useful spell, come to think of it. If you're like, honestly, I don't know what I want from my life. Okay, well, here's a good work that will help you practice focusing and clearing your mind and being specific. I don't know what I want from my life. I am lost in a sea of confusion. Don't focus on the lost of the sea of confusion. Acknowledge that it's there and then set it aside. Like any other clearing your mind exercise. Acknowledge that it exists and then set it aside and go, that's not the point. The point is I'm looking for what I want. I'm looking to find out what I want. 3 candles. One for the body, one for the heart, one for the body, one for the heart and mind, one for the spirit. You could do separate candles for the heart and mind, but I tend to put the heart and mind both on a single candle for this work because, and again, Shabbos candles. Don't be buying expensive bullshit for this. And you can do this with 3 painted stones if you don't like candles. But, yeah. I do the heart and mind on the same candle because those two should be working in tandem, and that's part of a goal of knowing what you want. Because when your heart and your mind are together, you know what you want. No exceptions. You're there. Okay, and light the 3. And I tend to light the first one for the body, and I do them in a triangle, like kind of a manifestation thing going on. Um, what does my flesh yearn for? What do I desire physically? What what is it? What is it I really want there? And focus on that. And kind of open the doorway to understanding of that, to sensation of that, to feeling that, because it's the body. You're going to feel it. And whether you feel it in that moment or later on after the ritual is fine. Both are fine. Don't necessarily expect results like that when you first start out. That doesn't work. 2, heart and mind candle. What does my heart and mind crave? Where do they differ and where do they harmonize? Where does my heart differ from my mind? Where does my heart harmonize with my mind, and vice versa? What are the conflicts of desire between these two? And what do they both yearn for? What does one yearn for that the other rejects? And what do they both yearn for? There's a lot there, but it's important to take that on as one thing, because thinking you can untangle one from the other is absolute lie. Absolute lies. Your mental, your logical and your emotional processes are married now and forever. You're never going to truly separate them out. At that point, you're lauding one and suppressing the other, and the one that's suppressed is dragging the other one down. You need both, and you need them to work together. Spoilers, that don't work, one on its own and the other being silent. They work together. And that's that candle. And you sit and you open the doorway of your heart and mind to understanding that, to being open to what's going on there. What do I really want? On the heart mind dichotomy level. And then the third candle, your spirit. What does my eternal self seek? What did I come into this life to do? What is that? Acknowledging that these are 3 different things is an extremely important part of this ritual. But, once you get to that spirit point, you go, what does my eternal self seek in this life? Is there a overall purpose to this? And if so, what is it? Because there's a possibility if I don't really desire anything right now. On any one of these 3 levels, 3, 4 levels. And that's okay. But that's important to acknowledge. What does my heart and mind want? What does my body want? And what does my spirit want? What are the things I seek? What are the goals? What are the bits that pull me forward in this life besides a based instinct of survival? That's important. And that is really, really useful information. So if you don't know what you want and you want to practice your fundamentals, I've just told you about your fundamentals, and I've just given you a ritual that's good basics. And if you're doing this with rocks or like bits of colored water or like shot glasses of colored water, or you can do anything really with this ritual as far as 3 representations in a triangular formation of your body, your heart and mind, and your spirit. I just use candles because basic bitch, okay? I like basic. It's a basic ritual. Keep it basic if you want to keep it simple and really just practice. But that's what I recommend. And that's some of the base fundamentals for any spiritual practice. And again, you may experience in ritual what that desire is. You may experience it immediately. You may get it after. You may get both. And that's fine. It could unfold over the course of a month. It could hit you a year later like a eureka moment. It could hit you the next day, an hour after ritual with a eureka moment. But it is what it is. And it's going to come to you in the time that you need it to. If you want to put a time frame on it, you can. I don't know if I'd recommend that, but you can. It's an option. In the next 3 days, reveal to me that which I desire of thee, da, 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 that which I desire for me. The yearnings between mind and the yearnings of my flesh, of my body. Grant to me the yearnings I find that lie betwixt my heart and mind. You can make up words. You can make this as fancy as you want. I think simple is easier for a basic ritual. But yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing you can do. And it's a good practice, and it's a good basic. And you can specify, what in witchcraft am I looking for? Physically, what are the experiences that I am longing to have here? Mentally and emotionally, what stimulates me about this? What draws me here? What's the desire? Spiritually, am I called to this, or is it just a fascination? And if so, what is calling me? Where am I being called? Great stuff to find out. That's my video. That's my advice for the day. I think that's good advice, personally. Okay, so blessed be.